I'm gonna show you today how I took $1 and I went to a thrift store and found an old, broken, dull knife, and I'm gonna restore that edge and bring it back to life. The big deal is a dull knife is a dangerous knife. You gotta put more pressure down, you're smashing everything, and if you cut yourself, it could go bad really quickly. Now when it comes to knife sharpening, now these are some of the implements you may have used in the past. We have a whetstone in which you take your knife across it, grinding it down, and hopefully not cutting off one of your fingers. The tricky one with this too is you have to get a 20-degree angle. Those of you who haven't been in geometry class in a while, go ahead and tell me with your hands what is 20 degrees. Nobody knows. The rule of thumb is like 2/4. How thick is 2/4? Again, it's taking that down, grinding it out. It's a guessing game on if I'm doing it right or if I'm destroying one of my knives. Another one is this little contraption right here. Now, this is one where you take the knife, go upside down, and grind it down on the blade. You see big hunks of metal come off of your knives. That can't be good. Not to mention, you can get a little sliver of metal in your eye. The next is the steel. Okay, this is a honing steel. Now, I'm sure you've seen it on TV where they're going a mile a minute. Looks really cool. Again, 20-degree angle. Are you doing it right? Nobody knows. Let's take a moment. I want to talk to you about my new Patreon page. We have just released a new Patreon page, and it is full of content. You have all my past videos you can watch ad-free. We have monthly members-only content and a question and answer period. So take a second, go to patreon.com/butcherwizard, sign up for the Patreon. It helps out the channel and make sure I can keep these videos coming. Thanks. One of the biggest questions I get when I go to somebody's house is, hey, can you sharpen my knives? They're dull, I need someone to help me sharpen them and I don't know how to do it. So I will break out my whetstone or some other way to sharpen it, and I'll go ahead and sharpen people's knives. I bet you have a knife block in your house that also has some dull knives in there. I want to show you this new product that has to be the easiest way to sharpen your knives. It takes all the guesswork out of it. It's a really cool invention that I wish I would have thought of myself. It seems so simple, but again, it's so easy. Anyone can do this and sharpen their knives. So we are back from the thrift store, and this is the one that out of all the knives I saw, this is the one that I think I'm gonna go with. It is the most dull knife I could find, okay? It is a vintage knife, so it's got that old kind of wood handle on it. So I'm gonna show you how to sharpen this thing using the tumbler. Now the tumbler is the thing I was talking about earlier. It is the sharpening system that it makes it so easy to sharpen any knife. The first thing is when you get the tumbler, you get this is a magnet block right here. So it has 20 degrees on one side, it has 15 degrees on the other. Depending on the kind of metal the knife is, you wanna go 20 or 15 degrees. I'm gonna go 20 with this one. This is a straight stainless steel knife. So watch what it does. Clicks on there and it magnetizes it at the right angle. Perfect angle every time. This is the next part. Okay, this whole thing rolls. I like put my thumb here on just to make sure everything is down on the magnet, and you just roll it back and forth on the knife. It's got a diamond edge on here and it has a honing edge. So we're gonna take it, it's gonna take a little bit, we're gonna grind it down with the diamond edge and then we'll flip it around and do the honing edge. We'll flip it over, so we did one side knife, got to the other side. So to do that, you just flip it around like that. Still got a pretty good ways to go, but we're just gonna keep doing it. I'll do this for about 30 seconds a side, I'll keep flipping it, and then it's gonna get sharp. So it's been about, I would say a good 10 minutes of just constantly doing this, taking 30 seconds at a time, flipping it over. This is like I said, a really dull knife. So here we go, here's my knife. Again, it's got a pretty good edge on it. Another 5-10 minutes, probably get it super sharp, but again, let's test it with our tomato. Here we go, here's our tomato. I feel like I'm on like an infomercial. Look how, man, this is, this is only 10 minutes on the sharpener. I probably can take this even more, get it even sharper, but man, look at that. I'm like an infomercial guy over here. Fillet these tomatoes, they're great. Look how thin it gets. It really does. It really is a great tool that'll get us where we need to go on sharpening our knives. And this is the torture test. This super dull vintage knife that I got at a thrift store. I think it was like, it said $2 on it. I think it was like 50% off, so it ended up being about $1. I also want to show you another quick thing. So if you have some odd shaped knives, now if you've seen any of my butchery videos, I use this 10-inch breaking knife, and it's a breaking knife, but it has this little like curve up. If the knife is too big or it's curved, it may not work. So what I do is, if you have a bigger knife, you get a cutting board, prop it up just a little bit. Okay, you may have to stack a few on each other or whatever, but then that way you get a nice, the magnet really connects to the knife, and you can get that whole, edge. Keep everything nice and nice. This gives you no excuse not to have a super sharp knife at all times. Hit the honing side. Now the honing side is the equivalent of using a steel. You probably have on your knife block, and you may or may not know how to use it. It takes a little bit of practice, but now this replaces that because it's always at the right angle. Pretty sharp, what do you think? I think so too. This is how you use the tumbler to make sure it's razor sharp.